Alright, let's start. Today we are going to rank all the Saints Row games, including spin-offs. The first game is Agents for Mayhem. I can't say if this is a proper spin-off or not, but I'm including it anyway. What I liked about this game was the combination of characters and action. This game could have been a lot better because it lacked other artistic aspects of the game. The locations could have been better, plus some game mechanics were annoying as hell. If you are playing Saints Row in a game like it, things like this shouldn't exist. The next game is Saints Row 3. Saints Row 3 is the perfect example of how much Saints Row evolved from the first game. This game is amazing. What I actually enjoyed about this game were the maps and the exploration. The developers didn't try to do anything different or unique. They stuck to the source material, the vibe of Saints Row games, and they nailed it. And that's why I'm going to place Saints Row 3 on the Great Trail list. I definitely deserve that. Next up is Saints Row, the original. The game has a lot of action, humor, and customization options that make it enjoyable to play. However, the game could have been better in some aspects, such as its graphics, gameplay, and story. The game's graphics are outdated and lack detail, especially compared to its competitors like Grand Theft Auto. The gameplay is sometimes repetitive and glitchy, and the missions are not very challenging or varied. The story is also not very original or memorable, and the characters are not very well developed or likable. Despite these flaws, the game is still a good starting point for the franchise as it establishes the basic elements and features that make Saints Row unique and appealing. The game also sets the tone and direction for future games, which improve and expand on the first game's strengths and weaknesses. So good for sure. Time for the fourth one. Saints Row 4 is a good game because it delivers a lot of fun, humor, and variety with its superpowers, weapons, and customization options. You can explore a virtual version of Steelport, where you can do almost anything you want. But I believe the game is not necessarily great for Saints Row Standard, because it reuses many assets and features from Saints Row the Third. The game also suffers from some technical issues, such as glitches, bugs, and performance problems. The most important thing is that the game also lacks challenge and innovation. You need to keep the creative vision flowing. So Saints Row 4 will go to the good tier because it's still a good game. Next is the literal disappointment. I'm talking about the reboot. The Saints Row 2022 reboot was a letdown because it tried to be something it was not. It wanted to be cool and realistic, but it ended up being boring and dull. It forgot what made Saints Row fun and unique: the crazy and psychopathic environment, the over-the-top and outrageous weapons, and the colorful and charismatic characters. Instead, it copied Grand Theft Auto, but with worse graphics, gameplay, and story. It was like eating a stale and bland pizza when you could have had a fresh and spicy one. It was not a bad game, but it was not a good Saints Row game either. It was a waste of time and money, and a slap in the face to the fans of the franchise. Going straight to the average tier, time for the GOAT. Saints Row 2 is the best Saints Row game because it offers a perfect balance between fun and freedom without sacrificing the story or the gameplay. Saints Row 2 has a great sense of humor, which makes the game more enjoyable and less serious. Saints Row 2 also has a good story, which is dark, twisted, and engaging. The game follows the rise of the Third Street Saints, who have to reclaim their territory from three rival gangs: the Ronin, the Brotherhood, and the Sons of Samedi. The game also introduces a new antagonist, the Ultor Corporation, which has a sinister agenda behind its corporate facade. The game has some memorable characters such as Johnny Gat, Shaundi, Pierce, and Carlos. In my opinion, Saints Row 2 is the best Saints Row game because it is the most fun, the most diverse, and the most immersive. It has everything that a sandbox game should have: a large world, a lot of customization options, a lot of content, a lot of humor, and a lot of action. It is a game that I can play over and over again. Last but not least, Saints Row got out of hell. Well, just because I'm saying not least, that doesn't mean this game is something special because, spoiler alert, it's not. Get Out of Hell is only average in that it lacks the originality and creativity that made the previous games in the series so enjoyable. The game reuses many of the same powers, weapons, vehicles, and activities from Saints Row 4, but with a hellish twist. The game also has a very short and simple story, which is mostly driven by cutscenes and side tasks. The game does not have any main missions, which means that the player has to complete repetitive and boring activities to progress the plot. So this was my tier list for Saints Row games. You know, when you love GTA games so much, you gotta try and jump for Saints Row. I'm not saying they are just like GTA, but they do give you that feeling of freedom. So at the end, I just want to say thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and say goodbye.